Hello, this is Rainbow Games, and welcome to Dominion 6, my first game. Took us a little while to get here, but we're finally ready to get started. This is a 16-player game, and we're just using the general map, the in-game map generator to build our starts. I don't think I'm down here alone. From my experience on the single-player mode, like it would tell me then. It would say, like, say if I was here, or say Agartha was here, it would say Agartha on the province. I don't know how to get someone closer for it to actually say that, but there's no way I have this all to myself down here. If I can take this, I'm assuming there's someone there and like someone here or something, but if I can win the underground, this is one of the better cave layouts that I've seen. Sometimes the cave, you can have like multiple cave layouts like right around your cap, and that's something you really don't want. But the nice thing about caves is that you can, unfortunately I have to probably build a fort here, but you can build a fort here to protect, and then you can go up here and you can build a fort to protect, so that way they have to go through 2 iterations. And then you can also cast a spell on this province, or this province, that catches all stealthers. Yeah, let's see who's in the game. We have Forest Boy playing Arco. These, with the mounted changes, this can stop most people, I'm going to assume, just due to the size 9, protection 18, 64 hit points all going on this unit. Is going to be huge, like, no pun is really not intended, but yeah, it's going to be a huge unit for Force Boy here. I'm not too familiar with Arco. I've never actually got to play against them too often. I know there's these heart companions, yeah. When I first started playing the game, I really liked these guys, but I never really got around to playing these dudes ever. They got war horses, really nice. Yeah, I can't really tell you too much difference about the mages. I know they have the disease healers and whatnot. I didn't know they had someone with reincarnation. I guess that's something has to do with the new glamour. So they do have access to glamour. Pretty cool. Pythium, played by Mandar. I think he might... His username is Don't Step on Snack, so maybe he's trying to use these small ones mostly. Maybe a bless around these, but there's a lot more poison damage in the game, like more accessible single target, and just general ways to use it. Foul Vapors is a lot harder to cast. There's a few that can still innately cast it, but I don't think Pythium is one without Communion. All of these look pretty much the same. I am a little familiar with Pythium because I'm in love with the Comitatenses and all of the Primanis, Palatines. I love these units, just stylistically. I don't really see too much, but there is something interesting that's going on here. There's a Death Nature cross path. I don't know which one. They both can roll it, so if you want the Death or Water. So Death 2 or 2 Water. I think these guys are more useful, because Death 2 could hoard skeletons, can open up a bunch of like spells like Shadow Blast and stuff. There's a single target, like it's like Incinerate and Frozen Heart, but it's 25 armor negating poison damage. So that's going to be very, very strong. In Dominions 5, if you had... I came across a problem commonly with Incinerate. If someone had like even 5 fire resist, the AI would refuse to cast it on them. Even though it would do like 12 or... was it Incinerate, like 18 armor negating? Even though if it would do like 13 damage up front and then do the DRN, they just refuse to cast it. So I would go against super combatants and whatnot, and even though they should die, the AI would force them to cast some random other spell. I wonder if that's been fixed or changed, or the AI is like altered in some way to, or maybe it's just spell specific. When they were coding the spell, maybe the poison one's a little better, because getting 25 poison resist is not impossible, but it's unlikely you'll be able to get that easily without some direct focus. Astral, that would allow him to be put into a communion as a communion slave. So overall, I think this one would win out, but I'm not as veteran as a lot of players. Maybe people are going to go after this. Maybe there's a Water 2 spell I'm not aware of. Still finding my feet in Dom 6 for all the spell changes, but my most knowledge is in Fire, so I'll save that for when we go to my nation. That's cool. I really love watching these guys play. Agartha is played by Janohito. Played with him in the last game I casted. Same with Mandar. And Forest Boy, actually. Agartha is going to be obviously an underground start. And something interesting is these guys were very resource intensive and very high encumbrance. And anytime I played against them, they would just end up losing out to any kind of fatigue play. And they would just tire themselves out. And they move really slow. Something I'm really familiar with as an Abysia main. And in Dom 6, I feel like they got something that just completely changes how strong they are in like the grand scale of units, and that's Blind and Spirit Sight. Deal with things like blur or a lot of the new glamour stuff where they rely on your vision. And another thing that's big in this game is if you have natural magic weapons, but these don't, but magic weapons on these with the Spirit Sight and Blind together, like these make a very solid basis of a unit. They got high attack, they got 16 damage, not that high, but you can actually work with these. And it doesn't say it's recruit cap only, so that's recruit anywhere. I can't remember if that's changed, but very nice. The mounted change, 22 prot, 58 hit points. These are going to be very good. Size 6, so a lot of things can hit the rider, but even the rider is decked out defensively. The Cave Drake have only 8 attack, 21 slashing damage bite. He'll go back. So the way the smart mount works is that the rider will say the rider dies and gets killed, and then after the battle, or this thing routes, or after the battle, it'll say like you have so many losses, and then the loss screen on the mount will have like a number plus a number, meaning how many were fully killed and how much were just the rider, I believe. I could be wrong. But then this Drake will make its way back to, should make its way back to your cap, which will cut the price on the next one you recruit, if I understand that correctly. Yeah, half the usual price. Okay, yeah, so very good unit. I really like this. Cold-blooded. They changed how cold-blooded works as well. You can use cold resistance to actually defend against it, which is, cold resistance was such a pain. Not too much has changed here, I don't think. Crossbows I don't think changed from 5, but yeah, they're one third. But bows have changed. When we get to some of the bows, we'll kind of talk about that. As for mages, I don't think too much has changed. What's Corpse Stitcher? Oh shoot, he can disease or affliction remove non-ethereal or spirit form undead, is what that means. For the non-corporeal, yeah. So that's cool. I don't know how alchemy is going to still be, or people actually going to be using that quite often in this version still. Thing about magic sites, there is a lot of them in LA, I've noticed. I have multiple times in single player testing found 3 to 4 magic sites on the same province in late age. So alchemy could be something that you do. Abysia is myself. The main changes here are, I petition like, yo, you're gonna start me off in the underground, at least give my units dark vision. So they gave Abysia 50% dark vision, which is good, but they didn't give it to a warbred, which really sucks. There's a lot of counterintuitive design choices with Abysia, but man, I just can't help but love them. A big problem from Dom 5 to Dom 6 is that on old age procs disease far more than Dom 5. Far more. I can constantly recruit like any of these guys, and the turn they come out, they can come out with a disease. You're on a timer at that point. And in Dom 5, I could just ignore the old age completely and just play around it. Map move down, you know, all this other stuff. Like, it sucks, right? But as long as they're not dying they're on a timer getting afflictions, like, disease doesn't give you a 10-turn timer. Depending on what afflictions they get through that 10-turn timer, they could be as low as like a 3 or 4-turn timer if the affliction like really like messes them up. So Slayers. Oh yes, that's right. Assassin 2. The assassination battles are pretty big. You can now catch people sleeping, so you can get the first attack. So if you got a good poison damage on your daggers, you can just straight up upload them on poison damage, and then when they wake up, even if they're super strong and kill you, the poison damage can kill them. Or force reduce heat scale deaths by 1 step, so that means if you got like heat 5 on your cap, you can have like so much population kill per turn, so it'll treat it as heat 4. Yeah, I like my fire magic, and they buff fire magic quite a bit. Like Firebolt, the general 1 unit Evo 2 spell from Dom 5 is now AoE 1. And that's pretty good. It's still fatigue 20, so you're going to want to upgrade to fireballs sooner than later. And there's been a couple changes with the spells that kind of changed the hierarchy of fire spells. This is Coin. He is playing Caelum. And the first thing we're going to look at is the Mammoth, because I feel that's going to be the expanding nation. Archers were buffed, so that the shortbows do half of the wielder's strength. I believe that was less than half. I believe it was 1/3 before. Pretty good. Lots of hit points. Lower prot, so they were not going to be quite as survivable. He might expand with something else. I don't see short bows and a small hammer being super good, but never underestimate trample. The one big thing to help with the flyer nations taking all your provinces is they'll send in their units and go attack rear with a small group and kill your commander back here. So just recruiting an indie commander and putting him right out front, so that the horde of units will pass over him, will give you a couple more rounds to fight off the flyers, and it'll save you a couple provinces here and there. I believe Coin won our last game, I believe. So good on him. So it'll be fun to watch him play Caelum. Choksny is playing Gath. Gibbers. Definitely going to be built around the Gibbers. Almost everyone who plays Gath builds around the Gibbers. I want to see people play around this. Actually, with Recruit Anywhere and the amount of troops you can mass, I feel like this Levite Zealot will see a lot more play. Just because you can just mass and mass and mass them. His username doesn't, or his pretender name doesn't really give any of it away, but with being able to recruit more of these pretty much all over the place easily, it's going to make blood hunting quite efficient for these guys. Do they get anything else? It says 2 holy points a turn. Huh. But not this guy, okay. No new glamour. Slings got buffed too, I believe. Half the wielder strength. The nice thing about the bow buff is that I was playing man before, because I didn't know if they were going to change the blind. The Abysia start underground blind, so I was practicing man, and their longbows are murdering heavy cap with 18 prot. So man has got quite the archer core that can just kill and expand with their heavy longbows. TX is playing Patala. Another nation with cave. You can recruit it in the capital in all caves. So this person's going to want underground. They start with Spirit Sight. That is so good. I don't know if they had that in the last game, but that is a massive buff. So the funny thing is I have 50% dark vision. This guy's got Spirit Sight, so this guy just will come underground and beat my ass. I want to see more Nagas in play. And this is going to be interesting how they are more likely to contest for caves. And you're going to see, if you see Patala coming over like here, you know they want to get inside here. You definitely want to know they want to get down here, because then they can just use this as a breeding ground for Nagas. So you could also ask for help from others if you don't think you can defend against them, because no one else would want them in caves breeding all those Nagas. So I feel like that's going to be a fight that's going to happen whether I want it to or not. So looking for you out there, TX. Next is Jomon. This was one I was considering playing for a while. I did really well with my last Jomon run. Oh my god, but yeah, all sorts of defensive layer buffs. And then poison. And they come resistance to all. So this is what I was talking about with that incinerate thing. And Dom 5, having 5 fire resistance makes it so that I can't just straight up incinerate this guy. And 13 damage plus DRN, 2 or 3 incinerates, this guy's just toast, right? But the game will be like, nope, we want to cast animate skeleton. Because the Abyssian units have like cross path on death, right? So instead of 100% killing this guy, then he's going to cast some skeletons or something stupid. So that's kind of annoying. So he's going to have glamour. So these guys are going to have stealth as well. Actually, I like that a lot. They can only be recruiting capital, but he can make some pretty interesting little raiding squads if he goes with stealth. These bowmen, almost as good as Man's warbows. Man's warbows are 15 damage. But yeah, 14 damage is pretty good. This is going to be seeing a lot of use for sure. Pretty good. I like it. Cavalry Maid plays Xibalba. I like these guys. The Wilmooch. Magic weapons. Having innate magic weapons is such a large buff now because it's an incarnate bless. Dark Vision 100. Oh, these basically Dark Vision 100 because they're blind. Yeah, so made for underground, and I believe that they do start underground. So this is a very strong unit to contest underground. These will, with 23 damage, these will chomp through line fighters, pretty much anything. You only get 2 to a square, but pretty good. I used these in Dom 5 a couple times on test expansions, and I liked it. They didn't have a hat, so I'd use like barkskin or whatever to give themselves like a pseudo 10 prot hat, but they are size 4, so they're less likely to get hit in the head for the most part. But a lot of people have spears, so it really doesn't matter. Did the darts get just range strength? No. I feel like darts and like throwing weapons needs a little bit of a upkick. If the long bows and short bows got that big of a buff, they just don't hold up. I love how that brings these up a little bit of a tier in Sacred just because they have the innate magic weapons. I believe expansions can still be hard because they're not super protected. And yeah, they got 26 hit points, but underground you're dealing with Bakemono Show, who do 14 or 15 piercing damage, and they have 5 to a square now because they're size 2. And that's going to hit these guys, and that's going to hit them in the head because they're length 4. There's cavemen who will just, they hit them in the head, these guys just insta-blab. 28 damage plus 50% because of blood bludgeoning. Even body, the shield is in, I say like a body and shield against a caveman hit. That's still going to do 3 plus DRN, and then it'll destroy the shield. Still a little risky to expand with, probably, but years better. Years and years better, because the stuff underground only have partial dark vision, where these have 100%, so 12 defense is really high for underground. Ctis is played by Polter. So something I noticed in my single player expansions when I came across Ctis is this unit is new and it is friggin' fantastic. Holy shit, people would use this almost entirely as the king of expanding, because it's just 2 attacks, 3 to a square, and you just blunder, right? Prot 17, defense 10. Right, so they're basically walk up and take a hit to the face. They get Pro 17 because they got natural protection 5, so that really works out for them. Their recruitment point 20, so you know where you could recruit 1 unit a turn or 2 units a turn, you're gonna get 1 with these guys. They don't cost 2 units, and they got more. They got 12 hit points, but attack 11, 23 damage. Is so good. You're looking for things that can do a big amount of damage, because in late age there's so much stuff with 20 prot, 18 prot, you know. If you random piercing, you're going to lower that 20 prot to 16. Oh, they changed it. It's no longer 20%, it's 15. See, I'm learning. So that would lower it by 3. So to go down to 17 prot. So that you're doing 5 plus DRN, right? But this slashing would be 3 plus DRN plus 50% of the stuff that gets through. So this solves a lot of issues. They're still going to get mowed down by crossbows and even bows. Crossbows for sure will chew through these guys, or anything that hits hard that doesn't, you know, because 10 defense isn't a whole lot. These are still fantastic units. They can still repel. I just think this is such a great addition, and that these guys will do so much work. And then next, not only do they have crossbow option, they have an AoE poison ranged option. And then on top of that, they have a sacred banefire option. Right? So you got armor piercing, magic weapon innate. No one cares about this. You can recruit these guys at a high amount, and yeah, they can get disease, but disease matters much less on a recruitable unit than it does on a 400 gold mage. Yeah, so this is insane. So they gave these guys 2 more options on top of their third ranged option, and they have access to envenom arrows, and they have access to flaming arrows. So this has become just a very strong ranged nation out of the blue. And I believe they needed the help, because I don't recall them doing too hot. Expansion was a nightmare. I've tried a couple times with the in Dom 5 expansion. But yeah, it was an absolute nightmare without, like, you know, Wake Expander or like a Bless or something, and you don't really want, for the most part. Like, these guys are okay, but like Encumbrance 9, Sword and a Shield, Defense 12. I don't know. Me personally, these could have done with magic weapons. You know, something else, but they got something even better than that. They got solutions in various forms. Big. They only needed 1 or 2, and they got 3. Right, so they got heat limit 1, death limit +1, so they can expand their scales. Very good. I think these guys moved up a lot, and these guys will see a lot more play. I really like these guys. These guys are pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Polter roll out with these guys. I'm pretty sure that he is looking for a little bit of revenge from the last game. Midgard, Glamour Apocalypse. So Midgard, I believe, turned from wind to glamour magic. This is played by Maximissed, which I think a pun on maximized or something like that, but we're just going to call him Max. I believe this is my first game playing with Max, so hey dude, welcome to the fold. Skilled Rider, so that makes it ignore 3 points of encumbrance or something, I think. No, it just straight up increases it. 17 defense on the mount. That is ridiculously high. And then he's got Glamour to back it up. Comes with True Sight. It's interesting if the horse has True Sight and then the rider doesn't. I like that. I like little quirky things like that. But yeah, Glamour magic and high defense is going to be a thing. These are still going to be good, regardless of the situation. So this same general lineup is the biggest changes are this, the Glamour and Blood. That's going to be cool to see the interaction between that. Strong before, going to be very strong now. Who's playing Bogus? Bogus has played Mordekai, I think it was. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Mordekai to actually playing Bogarus. I personally felt like it was a very weak nation in Dom 5. I love the general troop design. I just like this like, I don't know if they call this a kite shield or what kind of shield they call this. I guess a kite shield. There might be a different name for it, but I like the colors. I like the option between an axe, a spear, or a sword. Even though 2 are slash, and you can, like, you want to hit harder, you know, you're going to go against those halberders, or, you know. You've got your archers, who are a lot better now, but the problem with these units down here are the morale. They're only 6 gold a turn, but man, that morale is so bad. And the low attack does not help. But you can pump these guys out like chaff, so that's good. The main thing about Bogarus is the cavalry. And since cavalry is way different now, this could change the entire... Well, this will change the entire outlook of this nation. Also, recruit anywhere sacreds. So there's a lot more dynamics and a lot more possible build outlooks for Bogarus, and I really like that. They got the steppe horse, no armor, but they got composite bows for 13 damage. It's gonna be fun to watch. Misfortune limit +1. Oh, because they got fortune tellers. Yeah. So they want to abuse those points because they can stop bad events from happening. They have 1/5 and 1/10, it looks like. Pretty cool. Oh, and they can... Is it recruit anywhere? No, only in cavalry. They could recruit these anywhere. They could go for like a smite spam build, but with the sheer amount of units you can have on a field now, I think that's less of an option than it was really. It was hard to make work in Dom 5, and Dom 6 would be like almost impossible. So Pancake, the second Pancake, the third Pancake, the fourth Pancake is played by Utgard, who is Sunlust. I'm not sure if I played against Sunlust before, but it should be fun. All these units should be able to hit the head of pretty much anything, you know, size 6 and length 3. This could get trampled by the elephant, but this axe will just absolutely murder the thing. Not too much experience with these guys. Looks like they got luck limit +1. Luck is in Dom 5 was so strong, I ended up taking it almost every game as like a big economy choice, like relying on it. And as soon as I did that in Dom 5, I became so much more successful in games. A giant force, since forts are more expensive now, maybe, and they take like 5 or 6 turns. It's crazy. This might take them even longer to build forts, so that's something that you could abuse. But yeah, they have units that can hit hard, hit once, and then move on to the next one. You know, but they're still susceptible to like, hey, I hit your one arm, I hit your leg, so it doesn't matter if you do 2,000 damage. If you hit someone in the leg, you know, it's capped at 5. But otherwise, these things will just kill whatever's in front of them. Glamour, hey? So they're a Glamour nation as well. So that's going to up their strength considerably. Because a Glamour random... there's a lot of spells that are like... say like 2 Glamour and 1 Fire that gives you awe. And the spell says it only gives you 1 awe, but I found on my units that were casting it was giving them 2, even though that the spell description said 1. There's just a really, really, really strong thug and super combatant spells in Glamour. This is I'm just a little fearful of this because in the tourney I started next to Sai and he absolutely obliterated me with some sort of werewolf build. I did call out one of his moves that would for his PG, but with 4 units of great swords of sharpness, but not one of them hit in like 16 or 20 tries. So I was like, that was the only shot I had, and who knows if it would even help. So yeah, I know how strong that these guys can be. They can be pretty crazy. But his were sacred, so it might have been. It was Middle Age, I believe. So they might not be sacred here. So one of the new nations, Feminie. Played by Causk. So this is new to me. They are a fire nation. I personally like fire, so I was going to actually play them, but I was really... I love Abysia, so I figured I would do them a service and play them first. Veil Army. So what a good mage. 2, 2, and 2. So this can do astral fires, can do some other fire astral nonsense. But you're not picking this for astral fires. You're picking this for glamour and astral. There's got to be some... This is army buff. There's an army buff for this, I believe. It's super strong. Man, I wish I knew all the spells up by heart like I did in 5. Heavy glamour nation. +2 morale. on this unit. That's pretty good. With Sermon of Courage. This is a good anti-fear unit. Glaives are always good against units like Abyssia's where they got no defense. So in Down 5, they made the female units all have one less strength than the males and gave them one more defense, and also gave them... There was another penalty. I can't remember what it was, but I'm glad to see they're up to strength 10. And they kept the defense modifier. Unless this is considered like their mini elite. No, so they didn't. They just got their strength evened out. So that's nice to see. Just from a balance standpoint, because losing one strength, it just sucks for balance. Lance, Broadsword, Destrier, 24 health, 20 prot. That's a beefy horse. Got pretty nice knight. And then a Veiled one, which is their Sacred with Glamour, Stealth, 90. Isn't that like ridiculously high? Yeah, that is super high. Oh, I think because they're stealthy plus Glamour, which innately gives you a stealth bonus. So no one's going to see these coming. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game, but in Dom 5 you could use this one-handed and still get the same like damage output. So this one looks like it's specifically a two-handed weapon, which is unfortunate, but balance-wise it's fair. I always hope to get these in the Nation Gen games. It is two-handed weapons so that they benefit from strength, blesses, and whatnot a little higher. I think this is pretty solid if it wasn't an cap recruit only, but still. You could make some very high-end raiding groups with this. Temples cost 300. That's half price. That's crazy. So you could pump up your Veiled One recruitment costs that way. Magic limit 1, which is really nice for researching. That's not a very efficient researcher unit. I'm recruiting that one to research. Oh, damn. The person who leads it has a Glamour. Glamour 1's pretty decent for like little mini thugs. Man has a Glamour 1 leader. This one's not bad at all. I think this can go up depending on what magic you get, or the magics that get uncovered. This is a good researcher. Her name's Lore Mistress, so of course she's going to be a good one. This one's also very good. This is more gold efficient than this one. Oh, this one's going to be gold efficient 40, but you need to have 6 candles in the province to get the most out of this one. Cheap! Holy frick, this is cheap. And you can mass this up like crazy. 26 gold for 7 research. I wonder if the magic scale... No, you wouldn't need more candles. You would just need the 4 dom to get 7 research. For 26 gold a year. You get so much gold in this game, from what I've seen, that skimping on mage turns, probably not worth it, but who knows. Someone smarter than me can answer that one. Yeah, Andromania is played by Warpc. Sorry, I just get drawn to halberds. 12 attack, 20 damage halberd with formation fighters. So they can get 3 in a square, which gives them 6 attacks. And they get dark vision. 4 encumbrance. 4 encumbrance for prot 17. Whew, that's crazy. 16 prot body. These are crazy good. These are just good. These are so good. These can repel because they got attack and defense to actually do it. Whereas these, they don't really have the defense to... Unless they change how repel works. These don't really have the defense to pull off the repels as easily. Incredible unit. These can shield block and repel. And have 2 attacks. And they're also formation fighters. I really like this dog nation. Spear bite, what is the difference? Oh, just the armor. They got crossbows. It does 1 more damage than normal because they got higher strength. Crossbows that have an 18 damage and 15 damage attack. And have plate and... These guys can hold the line. Like, they'll shoot, and when things get into melee, these things can still chew back. Very unintended dog pun there. Patrol bonus, castle defense. So, usable. And you're cheap. Well, cheap. Everything here is 20 gold, but they got 18 hit points. I don't know if it's the same as in Down 5, where like if you go gold for hit points is good. There's a lot more gold in this game, so... let's take a look at their elite unit. Oh, I guess this is their sacred. This is all non-fort highlands and mountains. So they changed it from Dom 5 to Dom 6, where there's a cap on Corpse Eater, so you can't just like infinitely get max health, and it's like really low. On Pretender Gods, it's like 30 or 15 is like the max or something. Chaos Recruitment 5? So on 3 Turmoil, this thing's 25 gold. That's I'm not sure you should aim for that, but maybe. Who knows? I wonder if they changed Pillager. And that move affects what type of pillages you can do. He's an animal. This is interesting, the fact that they're animals, that leaves them open to certain spells that your opponents can use against you, but it also gives you access to spells that you can use on animals that, say, like, berserks them. This guy already has berserk, but you know what I mean, like, you can buff animals or whatnot. A whole bunch of different survivals. No one wants to be in a group with these guys except for these guys because they'll get morale -1, and they get animal very interesting, and 3 attacks. They have no armor, what to speak. Well, 4 and 9, so yeah, they're basically nothing. Not recruit anywhere. Yeah, but these guys can be geared to be pretender god killers or anti-sacreds just because they have an innate 15 attack. Great sword. Oh, they don't grow up to be that old. So Banefire could really hurt these guys. Not as bad as Abysia, who's like 18-year-old, his old age. Order limit 1. Looks like they'll need it with all the high rec points. I could see this being a Scales Nation for sure. Holy moly. A Fire 2 Death 1 with 1 random mage from Abysia costs 400 gold. Has less hit points. And this thing... I'm calling hacks. Interesting mechanic here, since this thing's not a priest, but it's sacred, its upkeep cost be cut in half. If this thing wasn't just sacred, this would be like a 300 gold a year unit. Look at these cross paths. This is insane. How do you not just love these paths? This one's a little all over the place. Maybe a Fire 2, Astral 2, or just a random on Earth. This is a nation that I think I could really get into. They got fire magic and they don't have all the downsides of Abysia. You know, they start with able to be in communion, use earth. They can use the earth fire cross paths. Like Abysia gets an earth fire cross path national spell and just like good luck getting anyone to cast it. They have a nature national spell on Abysia, which is just like bonkers. I like it. I know it's taking me a little while to get through these. And then last, but not least, it's Atlantis. A very much hated, generally hated nation in LA in Dom 5 because of these units. I guess mostly I see these units. I've seen these units a fair bit too, but what is that extra effect? Additional weakness, okay. Magic armor, magic weapons, high attack, high strength, very high prot because of this. They get over like, what, 22 or something like that? 24? I could be wrong. 21. Dark Vision, especially with Dom 6, magic weapons becoming incarnate required. You're gonna see it a lot less. So people, and with ethereal becoming cheaper, or things like that, people might lean into going with invulnerability on Blitz a little bit more, because in magic weapons you require an awake god. Having it naturally is such a big benefit. And these units already had such a massive benefit. They would go straight Stygian Reigns and all that nonsense, right? Which would just pump them straight up. Yeah, these just got like way better because of the innate magic weapons. This name is correct. Atlantis Penis Envy 2.0. Because Dom 5 was 1.0, 2.0, which was like, yo, we got even better. Cold limit, death limit, +1. I hope I don't start near him. Hope that's someone else's problem. I don't think they start on the ground, or can. They have to start water adjacent or something like that. But that's who's in the game.